Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. And really quick, before we start the video in the month of October and November, I want to take 1 second to ask you a favor if you have the time. We're going to put a link in the description of our videos that goes to our PayPal. And you're going to see me growing a beard for about the next month till the end of November. What that beard represents is we're working to raise money to give kids a Christmas that otherwise wouldn't have one here in our community. So anything you send us to PayPal in that month, just mark it Hair for the Holidays, click the link, whether it's $1 or $100, even a penny helps. If you mark Hair for the Holidays, we'll give everything that we get from you directly to those children. Through that last year, we personally were able to raise enough money to give 9 families a Christmas that wouldn't have had one, and the charity itself here in our community helped over 70 families. So if you have the chance, we would love your donation. We'd really appreciate it because we love getting to help people in our local community. Thank you. And watch this rockin' beard come in because I'm really bad at growing it, but we're going to give it our best shot. Thanks for watching, guys, and we appreciate your help. On to the video. Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. We'll probably use that whole thing because Kurt likes making me look like an idiot every now and then, and I do a good job helping him with that. But today is a clutch update, and it's clutch update number 1. And if you've been following along for a while, you're probably going, number 1? Jesus Christ, I think I remember saying 2, 3, 4, 5, but why are we doing number 1 now? Well, we're going to do number 1 now because number 1 is something we kind of held on to a little bit long. And we held on to it long for a reason. We were waiting for a few extra sheds. We wanted to kind of see what was going on with it. But, well, truth be told, if I'm being 100% perfectly honest, I really still don't fully know what's going on with it. But we're going to do our best. So, without further ado, let's start pulling out some snakes. And so actually, before we pull out the snakes, why don't I show you the pairing? We can definitely do that. So the pairing was this girl here, hi girly, who is now looking to eat my face because she is back on food good. And so every time I open the tub, she's gaining weight. She's doing wonderful. She's going to be ready to go again soon. We'll probably start actually pairing her now. She's ready to rock. But this is, of course, just a Mojave, a baby girl. And so this was the mother. You ready? She's a really gray Mojave. She's kind of a neat looking snake there. Looks much different than her other Mojave. Can I have my hand back? Oh, come on, give me my hand back. So that was mom. And let me show you dad. Dad was this little guy here who kicked one past the goalie. And this is, of course, a Mystic Potion. So what we're looking for it's a bell clutch, a bell complex. We're looking for a lot of really white snakes. We would like some to, as they age, turn into that. Now, we're going to have a really hard time knowing that early on. We kept them for an extra shed. It's still really hard to tell 100%. And the Mystic and Mojaves are going to be really hard for me to tell apart. So here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some things that are either Super Lesser or Mystic Potion, and some things that are either Mystic or Mojave. You can help figure it out if you want. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. We will start with this little one right here. This is 190101. This is a cool little snake here. We'll put them all on the scale for you. And of course, for you Patreon members, there is more than one. There is more than a Patreon member, I promise. The follow-up video to this for you guys will be these things being priced and being available. However, to end any speculation, you can't have this one. Why? This one's mine. Sorry, we did want to hold one back. This is likely going to end up being, if I was a betting man, you know, here's the thing, guys. You have I don't know if the camera picks up, you do have some lavender through there, and you do have a faint yellow stripe. So there is hope, but probably going to end up being just a super Mystic, or sorry, a Super Mojave. And that's okay. It is a female. We'll double check that. It's like, really? Why are you messing with me? Because I can. Because we are definitely wanting to keep back. Okay. You want to roll around? I'm still going to win this contest. Oh, he may actually be a male. That's why I always double check these things. Because sometimes when they're really first born, it can be really hard to tell. Nope, you're a girl. See, no red, no retraction. That's a girl. See that little spot of piss it shot on me? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Can I have another? So we'll put her back, and she is going to be a keeper for us. now let me show you one that you can have. And that is going to be 1901-02. This is a chunky monkey. I'm looking, that's what I'm looking for. Since I got a little bit of urine on me there, we'll clean that up. Now this is a really, really nice looking snake. This is obviously not a normal. This is either going to be a mystic or a Mojave. Mojaves, I think, tend to be brighter. Mystics tend to be darker. The other thing is, like, I don't know, it's hard to tell. This one weighs a ton. Well, not a ton, 159 grams. And this is a little male. So he is doing wonderful. And I do love, like, for a single gene, these are both really good bang for the bucks because, well, I mean, look, you get a really cool pattern, some nice coloring, just really neat snakes. I dig them a lot. I do think as they're adults, Mojave is a much darker black. Or sorry, Mystic's a much darker black. I have had one of those days where I say everything wrong. But they are fairly similar. But again, blacker blacks on a Mystic, a little bit more gold, I think, on a Mojave. So we'll put that one back. It is either a Mystic or a Mojave. And we'll pull out another one that is either a Mystic or Mojave. Now it's not as bright, but it's also a lighter color. This one's probably a Mojave. That one might actually be a Mystic. 114, 116. It's gaining weight before your eyes, which is really kind of cool. This one is also 1901-03, a little male. So 2 little males in a row there. And he is just a really cool little snake. I mean, a little bit more attitude, I think, than the other one. But again, you can really see that pattern. You can see the coloration is different. So I think the other one's probably going to be a Mystic. This will probably be a Mojave. People said you can tell by the belly. I really can't tell. But anyway, that is that. I can guarantee you if it's not one, it's the other. How about that? And on something like this, we disclose that. And that is one thing too, guys. When you start getting into this and you start selling snakes, and I hope you do, those of you that want to, you know, if you're not 100% sure what it is, if you know it's one of two things like that, here's another little one, just disclose it. Just be honest about it. I think it's, and you may have people go, oh man, well, he's not sure what that is. Well, I don't want to get that from him. You know, a little white spot under scale. Okay, it's stuck there. You may have some of that, but I think it's better to say, look, it's one of these two things. This is a pairing. This is what I know. This is where it's at. Than I think it is to say it's definitively this and be wrong. It's always better to give all the information. You can give your thoughts as to what you think you've got going on. Like I would say, I think this is probably going to be a Mojave, but it could be a Mystic. That's what I would tell people. It's definitely not a normal. This was like, well, it looks like a normal to me. Well, no, here's what I can see to tell you it's not a normal. The back kind of tells you have a lot of oddball patterning. You'll see a lot of where everything's trying to keyhole in there, which is really uncommon for a normal. Just overall. Now, if I saw just that spot, really normal looking, but you can also see the flaming through there. You know, actually, yeah, not a normal. So that's what I can show people. I can tell them what I know, but I'm not going to tell them what I don't know. I'm just going to make a guess. Educated guess and tell them. Now here is an all white snake. Now this one's in shed. So, you know, give it a little bit of a break for its kind of rough look here. But it is, I'll be interested when this one sheds out to see it after post shed, because I can see a slight pattern in there, which means, come on, you piece of shit scale. This very well may end up being a Mystic potion. I mean, we may have somebody waiting quite long enough because, honestly, I feel like, what happened to clutch one? Even though nobody probably cares. Come on, scale. This was doing really well too. I mean, 141 grams. They're all good size. We waited a lot longer on these to sell them. But if you look at the eyes, you can really see that it is, in fact, in shed. It's like kind of gray there, and just the overall color. This one here is a little bitty male, and I labeled it as likely Mystic potion. So this is the one I feel the best about being a Mystic potion. So anyway, there you are. Next up, 1901-06. Hi, little one. You got yourself all dirty. How did you do that so fast? Oh, look at all that coconut. You know what? Yeah, I'll just wipe it off. It's not about rinsing her off so you guys can really see her. This is another one that's either going to be a super... There we go. Let's blow her off. Either a super Mystic or sorry, either a Super Mojave or a Mystic Potion. I'm not really seeing any pattern in there. You are seeing the yellow stripe, of course, the gray head, but Super Mojaves all have a gray head. So it'll be interesting to see. But anyway, there that is. We'll get a weight on her. I say her. Yes, this is a her. Now I labeled her from the get-go as a Super Mojave, so that's what I do think she is. She's at 150 grams. And she's just a really pretty snake. I mean, you really can't go wrong with these bell complex snakes. They are just beautiful. The only thing is they show dirt real bad, so if they've got anything that's dirty or got blood on them from a rodent or something like that, it's just going to show up. But otherwise, they're just completely beautiful animals. And last, I won't say certainly not least, that's an opinionated matter, is 190107. This beastly thing. And that is another Mystic or Mojave. Again, we hit no normals this clutch, which, here's the thing, and we talked about the other one, I said this is how we know. That's something else we could also say, is we also know we have no normals because we used a Mystic Potion. So we bred with a Super, so we were absolutely cheating the odds. And the odds hit right what we'd expect. I think we got, you know, 2, 3 all white snakes out of 7. So, you know, you'd expect 3 or 4. We got 3. We got 4 of the single genes, which is what you would really expect to have happen. So it's all right. Of course, the scale shuts off. He is one of the bigger ones out of the clutch, doing wonderful. As you can see, 165 grams. Beast mode. So anyway, he is the last snake, and again, it's either going to be a Mystic or a Mojave. I'll let you make that determination. I think this one's likely a Mystic. Let me show you why. So leave that there for just a second for me. You're not helpful. You're not helpful. You're helpful. This is one of the reasons I think that. Put these two snakes beside each other. Okay. Now again, I can't make the promises, but I'll tell you where I come up with that educated guess. Remember me talking about the darker blacks? That should show it. So this one I think is Mojave. This one I think is likely Mystic. See the lighter colors through there? See the darker blacks. Even where it's blushed, it's just darker. So overall, you get darker blacks, which tends to cause a little bit more contrast in the yellow. So if I had to guess, I would say, you know, if you held a gun to my head and said identify them, I'd say Mystic, Mojave. But is it possible I could be wrong? Absolutely. They're so similar, I cannot say with 100% certainty until they're of age. But if I'm telling you, and this is where my opinion is coming from, I wanted you guys to see that so you knew what I was talking about. All right, Kurt, any questions?
So you said they're
allelic.
Allelic.
Allelic means simply that with certain genetics, you'll have those combos where they will work like a homozygous animal. So what I mean by that is, you know, we have our super lesser here. How are you looking today? You need to eat. I left a meal in there for you. Wake up and eat that mouse. We won't bother her. You know, you have your super lessers that are all white, right? And that is a homozygous combo. Lesser to lesser, super lesser, or heterozygous lesser equals a homozygous lesser. In this case, if you were to breed a Mystic to a Mojave, they're going to link up at the same location on the allele and act like a homozygous animal. They basically are a homozygous animal. Without getting into a bunch of technical terms that are over this guy's head, but they are going to be together. So when you think about your genetics, the best way I always think about it is like a plug-in, okay? And your one side is going to go here, one side is going to go, they're linked together, and when they're bred, you know, it has to pass on this side to the baby or this side. Has to pass on one of the two. Well, if you have a lesser, or we'll see Mojave, and just a straight Mojave, this half would be Mojave, this half would be normal. Half the babies get this half the babies get this half. These are Mojaves, these are normals. Well, if you have a super Mojave, half the babies get this half, they're Mojave. Half the babies get this half, they're Mojave. And when you have like a bumblebee, you have a pastel and a spider, both linked to a normal. So half the babies may get spider, some of them may get spider and this, some of them may just get this. But when they meet on the same allele, even though they're different genes, like a Mystic Potion, you get your Mystic, you get your Mojave, they're in the same spot, meaning that when it passes on that genetic, and it has to pass on half of it, right? It's going to either pass on Mystic or Mojave. It'll never throw a normal. It can't do it. It has to pass on half. Where they're not allelic, it could pass two separate genes. They could be here. They could pass normal, 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 whatever it wanted to on how it passes it on. Allelic, they're going to be linked. It has to pass on one half that to every baby. So the good thing is, with something like a Mystic Potion or a Super Mojave, you're never going to create a normal ball python. But because it can only pass on half of that genetic, when you breed that to a normal, you're going to make all Mystics or all Mojaves. You'll never make a Mystic Potion. You'll never do it. You'll never make a Super Mojave using a Super Hot Mojave to a normal. With a Bumblebee to a normal, you can make pastels, spiders, and bumblebees, and normals. With a Mystic Potion to a normal, you make Mystics and Mojaves. So you are gaining something in the fact that you never will make a normal. You are losing something that you cannot recreate the combination in and of itself. You know, you can create that like we did if you use a Mystic Potion bred to a Mojave, because then that mom is passing on Mojave to half, normal to half, right? So I know every BEL that's in there has to have at least one copy of Mojave. Dad's passing off Mystic to half, Mojave to half. So the half that get Mystic Potion or Super Mojave is 50-50, because I know they all got Mojave for mom to have that combo. Hopefully that makes some sense. Did that sound like it made sense to you, Kurt?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully it did. Sometimes I feel like whenever I get off on that tangent, people are probably sitting there. If you ever watched The Wonder Years, it's one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. But you'd have that teacher who would be like, "The force of nature is amazing. Watch as Mount Vesuvius erupts. Oh no, the village is dying. The power of the volcano will cease all life within 50 meters or 50 miles. And it's just like, oh my God, we all have that teacher. So sometimes I feel like I'm probably droning on like that. So hopefully I'm slightly more entertaining than that guy. But that is all I have, unless you got anything else for me, Kurt. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. That was Clutch Update number 1. Patreon members, stay tuned, because this evening I'm going to give you your video where you can buy those guys.